James, joined by Calvin and Rhys, to admittedly rather late give you our thoughts on Jason Reitman's Ghostbusters Afterlife. Starring McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, Carrie Coon, and Paul Rudd, Ghostbusters Afterlife is a true sequel to the 1984 and 89 blockbusters, focusing on a single mum and her two kids arriving into a small town, only to discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy that their grandfather left behind. Right, so I know this has been out for a while, so most people have seen this movie already, but we'll do a quick spoiler-free. Rhys, I saw this with you. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fun. It's what you want from a Ghostbusters movie, because the original ones they mixed the comedy and the horror kind of aspects really well. They did it with this.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the acting was really good. I think McKenna Grace gave a really good performance. I enjoyed a lot about this film. I can't really say much about it without.
Yeah, we'll get more into it.
But...
Yeah, Calvin.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was nostalgia done well, but I also thought it leaned a bit too heavily into that. I felt like the story, they were pretty much riding on nostalgia for it, which sort of makes sense because you've got this like kids sort of finding out that these like legends were sort of they're related to them, even though the kids didn't even know who they were really. But I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was, I don't know. I feel like I liked it, and then when I thought more about it, I started to like it less, because it does feel like they're sort of saying to the newer generation now that they're like, you will like Ghostbusters. Like, have it.
Please, we made a whole subset of Sony for Ghostbusters. Please like Ghostbusters. Yeah, what you said about nostalgia, I think it definitely like follows that Force Awakens model of having that similar plot with the fresh characters, and it's heavy on nostalgia, and because Jason Reitman, who directed this film, obviously the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first film, so you can feel how much he cares about Ghostbusters. I think it was a nostalgic for him as well, and that's that familial connection. It can really be felt throughout. I think he strikes a really good tone, like you said, Rhys, with the humor and the horror, and sort of like that 80s, 90s, wonder, Spielbergian Amblin film. It gets that heart and that tone really well. And I think remember how scary kids movies were when we were younger?
Yeah, but was that because we were kids?
I don't know. I think if you go back and even stuff like Labyrinth and movies like that, I'm like, that is, that's creepy, and give a kid a nightmare now and again. It's fine. So I kind of like having these, it's not scary, but it's kid horror stuff. I really enjoyed that.
I feel like in this one, the humor sort of fell flat for me, because it felt like this one was definitely aimed. They were riding off they were trying to aim it. It seemed like they were trying to aim it at a younger audience.
Yeah.
Whilst also the sort of older generation are going to go and see it because they loved the originals. But I feel like the original film, especially, was epitomizes what a 80s family film was. The humor in it is very adult, which I love about the first film, because I loved it when I was younger, because it was ghosts and stuff. But
and then you watch it when you're older, and
I also can
appreciate.
Yeah, but I don't feel like this one will age that same way. I feel like their demographic target audience for this one was this try and get the younger audience in on it, whilst just giving the older audience the nostalgia, which I don't know. I feel like they could have done a bit more with it. I did like the small town, sort of moving it from a city to a small town, but I just didn't feel they did enough. Are we going to move into spoilers now?
Yeah, we'll go into spoilers.
Yeah, well, the plot is large. The last third of the film is the same, and I was like, you haven't got one original idea. You're just like, oh look, it's the villain from this thing, or I don't know. I just as soon as it was the last third, it just felt the same. I was just, you could have done something at least a bit new and original here.
Yeah, the plot was one of my weaknesses with the film. I think it definitely relies on character over its story. It feels really like back heavy in terms of its conflict. So in Ghostbusters, you've sort of got like the real world antagonist. So you've got Gozer, and then you've got what was his name? Walter Peck. Like sort of, you know, disagreeing with the Ghostbusters and trying to prove them wrong, get them down. And I don't think we had that element that was missing from this movie. So we're sort of just, you know, coasting along, and then all of a sudden when Gozer returns, it's quite full on plot action. Let's go. Like for pacing wise, that didn't really work for me.
Yeah, I also think they spent too long in the first quarter of the film sort of establishing the sort of like these characters, you know, coming of age, moving to a new town. But then for me, it just felt like there wasn't, to be honest, for a Ghostbusters film, there wasn't enough ghosts. I know the 80s film, the 80s film only has like a handful in the actual plot before they all sort of go berserk. But I think that was down to, it was paced well. Like they give you a ghost, like they give you a ghost at the beginning, give you a ghost in the middle, then give you a ghost at the end. But this one was just like, oh, have one ghost and then the same villain as the first film. I don't know. I just felt like, can it be called Ghostbusters really? If you're not, there's no ghosts to bust. Like,
it felt as like at the end when everything does go to shit and all these ghosts are released, it felt very contained as well. I didn't feel the stakes really. And in the first Ghostbusters, it feels like the city is, you know, it's in chaos because of what's going on. And now in this, it was all sort of centered around Egon's house. We've not really discussed that either. We find out that it's Egon is the grandfather of the new main characters. And
what a shock.
Well, yeah, obviously.
give it
didn't have much choice
of glasses so the audience can work it out.
So this is my biggest problem with the film, because I feel like the actual story doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So obviously Egon is the Ghostbuster that we can't have back because Harold Ramis sadly passed away. So he's the one who sort of he's left the group. He's gone off. He's going on his own adventure, and we're not actually entirely sure what he's up to. And then, so it turns out he discovered this, like, you know, a plot for Gozer to rise again. And we find out that the Ghostbusters didn't believe him and thought he was going crazy, and just sort of like, nah, you know, we're not going to help you with that. Why wouldn't they believe him after everything they've been through and seen? Yeah, Egon's the smart one. Like, you know, the revelation, believe him.
The revelation and like the whole J.K. Simmons cameo, that got me interested. I was like, oh, that's cool. They, you know, expand like the lore of this world, and
I thought it was cool.
Man has been manipulating, is like worships this sort of demon and manipulating everything from the start, and then now they're going to come back, and I thought they were going to have more of a role, but it was just a cameo, just sort of, I don't know why. Are they friends?
Well, J.K. Simmons and Jason Reitman. Yeah. He's been in. He's been in a few of these movies.
I felt like at times they wanted to make a longer film, but I felt like there was lots of stuff that maybe was left, you know,
on the cutting room floor.
On the old cutting room floor, yeah. But I didn't mind the plot too much. I felt like, you know, when I say Ghostbusters film, I want to see them bust some ghosts. They did that.
You think it's
not as much as the old film, but they did do it.
I don't even know if Gozer is a ghost or not. I'm so confused by what she is or what they are.
A demon or
spook, spectre, or ghost. One of those three. Olivia Wilde, by the way, cameoed as Gozer. Uncredited as well.
Took me way too long to figure out who it was.
Yeah, the end you were like,
for the whole last bit of the film going, who is that?
I didn't even know it was her until you told me. I wasn't really looking for it. I was just like, oh, it's this woman again.
Yeah, well, speaking of cameos, the original, the remaining Ghostbusters, well, no, all of them make appearances. at the end of the film, which to me, when they appeared, felt jarring. I immediately got sucked out of whatever was happening, and I was like, "Oh, it's Bill Murray."
How did they get there?
Dan
Did they
Aykroyd.
drive?
How did they
walk
get
through all the
there?
fields?
Why did they have all
Well,
the
I assume they
uniforms and
drove.
ecto?
I know they're old, but
Why did they have
still
their
I didn't have a
buy
car.
cars.
No, they didn't have proton packs or anything though, because they said Egon took everything. So when they turn up fully suited and booted, I was like, "What's going on?" I think they should have been involved in the plot earlier if you're going to have them at all, and bring them back like Han Solo and Leia. Have them actually do something to make a difference in the story, not just pop up for popping up sake. And we do get a nice moment though where Egon comes back in ghost form, and he helps. What is McKenna Grace's character called? Can't remember. Well, yeah. So he helps her stabilize the proton pack, and he crossed the streams and blah blah blah. All that. And then there's a really nice moment where Carrie Coon gets to reconnect with this distant father, which to me it was weird as well. Why Egon was so secretive and just left without leaving anything really for his children. It seemed odd to me that they would give him that story of abandoning his family. And
I think it adds more of a bit better flavor to it's just a more realistic approach. I almost like it when films do that and they don't always show that like these characters are like perfect guys, because I think if you look back to the original Ghostbusters, they weren't perfect guys. They were all like,
and out of all of them, I can believe
that's why I love the characters in the original so much. They're all like, they're just everyday guys. They're always smoking. Like I don't know.
I know, but you think that like he could
not
call,
your typical
he
hero.
could
but I can believe
say,
that.
I'm sorry, there's a ghost apocalypse about to happen, and I need to go and stop it.
Yeah, but I can kind of see him out of all of them. He'd be the one to do that because, he was always a bit more, mind over anything else. And I think in his mind, he was probably like, I need to do this.
It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense of why he thought no one would have believed him, considering it happened in New York, one of the most populated, seen cities in the world.
That really didn't make sense to me, and it annoyed me throughout. Why aren't his friends helping him?
I also wanted Gozer to do the thing that they do in the first film, where they say like, pick what you're going to fight against. I didn't want it to be the Marshmallow Man again, but I don't know. I thought that if they were going to use exactly the same plot devices, I wanted that kept in.
Why is it missing something?
Same.
Yeah. We do get the return of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in mini baby form, as is the trend these days. I mean, they're cute. It was funny. I
as much as I
like
love
that scene.
He can't replace Rick Moranis for me.
Well,
that was the only thing. I know Rick Moranis doesn't act anymore, but could have done something. Could have put a picture of him somewhere.
I thought the whole gag with the car windshield was good when he's running out of the Walmart.
No, he dives through.
Slides into it. Yeah.
I even liked the addition of what's his name, podcast.
I
usually get kind of annoyed when they add like little kind of quippy sidekicks in, but
so
I feel like
the new Ghostbusters team didn't do it for me. Like, why was like Finn Wolfhard's like love interest girlfriend just joining on? Like, I don't think she had enough role in the film to warrant.
They're going for that Stranger Things crowd.
They have to do it.
Finn Wolfhard doesn't get a lot to do.
Yeah, I'm always the big thing about Finn Wolfhard. I look at him and I'm like, is he a good actor, or do I just like him in Stranger Things, so I give him a pass?
He was good in it.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's always been a thing with child actors. I'm like, when they're kids, they get away with it. But then when they start getting a bit older, you're like, come on now.
That's where you start to see the cracks.
Yeah. As I said to you after the film, McKenna Grace, I feel like everything I've seen her in, she's like the same character.
I thought she was great in this. I really thought
she was great, but I feel like
character
she's always
work that on paper would seem quite annoying. Just this mini Egon. I loved her little quirk of she just tells really horrific jokes. I thought that was really funny. Anything else to say on Ghostbusters before we rate it?
No, I I didn't think I'd get so emotional in a Ghostbusters film.
I will say that I'm not a
He came
diehard
back.
Ghostbusters fan, but
Yeah.
that did get me. Yeah, that was
I
nice.
do think it was awkward that obviously he was CG and he didn't speak. That did make it feel a little bit like
it did go on for a bit too long as well.
Yeah.
I was because he's not speaking, so I was like, this is a bit uncomfortable. They're all just staring
Start
at
speaking.
each other.
It sounds like Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh no, they just had to pull old dialogue like they did for Leia. Right, Rhys, do you want to start us off with your score out of 5?
Yeah, I am. I've been waiting a long time for this. This is my 5-star movie.
You're taking
really?
I loved it.
You gave it bad points.
Nothing that I can nothing major. Though.
Is this actually your first 5 out of 5?
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I've been I could see this again.
Respect.
Fair enough.
Respect.
I
thought you were trying to take the piss.
What a 5-star film is for you. I can watch this again.
Maybe it's because I've watched loads of really terrible movies this year, and this is one of the ones I was looking forward to.
It wasn't over 2 hours and
yes, it was a good amount of time.
in and out.
Loads of fucking sand on my screen all the time.
Right,
maybe it's nostalgia, but yeah, Ghostbusters 5 stars.
5 out of 5 from Rhys.
I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5. I think because I loved the first film so much, I think a lot of nostalgia hit points got me, but from a critical point of view, I don't really think they work. And will this film age as well and be thought of as well as the first one is?
I mean, definitely not. I think just because we're in a different sort of cinematic landscape now, aren't we? Something in the 80s like Ghostbusters is huge.
In the credits, what's that about?
Yeah, come on. How
Maybe
about
it
when
would have been 5 stars if they played that in the film?
When they were chasing Muncher through the town.
Yeah, it would have been great. Yeah.
Whap it on the radio. Yeah, 5 out of 5. I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 5. I love the tone, like I said. I love that we're getting, it's another scary kids movie. They're great, bring them back. The humor really works. The cast is great, but there was just some plot holes that I just couldn't forget about while I was watching it because I was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fun, and I forgot to look at the box office, but I think it did. I think it did okay.
Yeah,
so we could see more Ghostbusters in the future. Is that what they were hinting at in the post-credit scenes?
I hate that post-credit scene.
They were terrible.
It was so long and it didn't make any sense.
Well, yes. So we've got 2 post-credit scenes. The one with Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver, where it's just absolutely nothing.
I didn't see 2. Maybe I.
Yeah. Well,
did leave.
They're doing the test with the cards, and he has to guess what's on them, and he's cheating, and that was it. And then the end credit scene is I'm forgetting the character's name.
Ernie Hudson,
yeah. Winston. Going back to the firehouse, returning the XO1. But he did, I thought we got told earlier in the film that I've been turned into a Starbucks.
It did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So someone's lying. But I don't know what they plan to do. I don't bring the old Ghostbusters back. Just give them one, and then we can move on with the new cast, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, that's it for our review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you're listening to us on YouTube, then please tell us what you thought of the movie down below in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening on any other of our streaming platforms, then head to our Twitter at Keeping It Real UK, hit that follow button and comment under our Ghostbusters link your thoughts on the film. We'll be back again soon with more movie reviews, but until then, I hope you're having a great week, and as always, keep it real.